Guess what is one of the most popular sexual fantasies? Rough sex. Yeah, I don't get it either, but let's take a look at what those pesky consenting adults are really up to. Hi, I'm Rick Higgins. This is Mastering the Second Half, and today we're going to take a look at a side of sexuality that you may not know that much about. Now, a lot of this information comes from articles published in Archives of Sexual Behavior, a must-have reading list by your bedside, I might add. What do they define as rough sex? Well, their top 5 answers were choking, hair pulling, spanking, being pinned down, and being tied up. Now, I can honestly say that not a single item on that list interests me, either as the performer or the performee. And frankly, the one that I kind of have, being blindfolded, I'm pretty disappointed that it didn't even make the list. Now, to be serious for a second, the study actually did sort of put rough sex into 2 groups. One of them was being pinned down, hard thrusting. There's rough sex. And the other one was choking, slapping, and punching, which means there's rougher sex. And in terms of enjoyment, they actually threw a number out there. They said that only 2% of the people did not enjoy it. And I need to word that in another way. For everyone who tried rough sex, they said that only 2% of the people did not enjoy it. The 98%, the vast majority of people who tried this, they actually liked it. Now, having discovered all this, I had to dive in more. I had to learn. I had to get deeper, so to speak. And I found something, what was it called? It was the Beginner's Guide to Aggressive Sex. It sounded like a good place to start because they actually had a tutorial. Now, I should note that that article actually started off with the caveat, if it isn't consensual, it isn't sex. It's assault. Something I can firmly get behind, and I probably should have led this video off on that. Everything that I am talking about and all of the research that I've done, it is between 2 consenting adults. Now, I want to read you some other caveats that they put on here because I think it's important in the context of what we're talking about. They use consent is an ongoing, enthusiastic agreement between all people engaging in sexual activity. And also, if you aren't sure it's 100% yes, it's a no. Honestly, those are pretty sage words for anything we do in life. They also suggested making a list before you kind of start with this with 3 columns. One is a yes, the other's a maybe, the one's a no. The yes is everything that, you're pretty enthusiastic about trying. The maybe column is things with a little information, a little more research, maybe some discussion with a potential partner that you might be interested in. And everything that is outside of your comfort zone, it goes in the last column. Now, the way this works is after you and your partner create your list, you have a discussion to establish boundaries, because if you don't talk about it first, apparently while being in the passion of, you may exceed your limitations. They suggest safe words. Mine would be pineapple, pineapple, because isn't that what everyone's supposed to say? They suggest yellow for, hey, I'm getting close to my limit, and red for, it's time to stop. And the part that really kind of got me was you also need non-verbal safe words, because if your thing is choking, you can't speak, so they suggest certain movements. It was a lot more to it than I thought. Okay, let's take a quick pause. Now, I know that the title and the subject of this video is all about shock and awe. It's about getting your attention on something that may be a little outside of most of our comfort zones. And that's kind of the point of this video, but it's actually not. There is a larger point to be made. Now, we all have things we don't like, things we do like, and things we keep to ourselves. And it's that last category that I want to talk to you about. Now, maybe your thing is spanking and latex. I don't know. But whatever it is, there is probably something in the back of your mind that you haven't shared with your partner, especially in long-term relationships. We tend to keep these things to ourselves. Now, maybe keeping a fantasy is your fantasy, and if that is indeed your fantasy, then you're doing great. Just keep it going. Yay, you. But what's the worst thing that can happen if the next time you and your partner are having a private, intimate conversation, you bring up that little thing that's in the back of your mind? Sure, it might seem shocking at first, it might even be a little humorous, but if you're only keeping them to yourself and you're not sharing them, how else are they ever going to become reality? Now, if you do want to learn more about rough sex, I would suggest after this video is over doing a little more research elsewhere, because frankly, I'm not going to touch that topic anymore in this one. But what I do want to talk about is consensual sex between two adults. Now, take the word rough out of it and insert other fantasies. And that's kind of the basis of what we're talking about. Now, I semi-jokingly mentioned blindfolds earlier, only I wasn't joking. That really is my fantasy. I think it would be an incredible experience to take away your major sense, your sense of vision, and to rely on all of your other senses. I mean, how much more intense would the feelings and everything be if you had to rely on touch and smell and hearing and everything but your vision? I think that would be a pretty cool fantasy to have. Now, here's my point. I just told potentially the entire population of the entire world my fantasy, and lightning didn't strike me. Nor did I die of embarrassment, although frankly, I am a little worried about some of the comments that may pop up under this video. Now, I started this whole thing out with a certain flavor of sex, and again, if that's your thing, go forth and prosper, more power to you. But what I really wanted to make a point of was go experiment, go take your partner and take what's inside of you and get it out of you. It's not a crime or a sin. If it is, you're kind of doing it wrong, but take what's inside of you, your feelings, their feelings, let it out. Sex is supposed to be about enjoyment, about freedom. It's not just procreation and following a list every Saturday night. So take your partner, take yourself, and discover, enjoy, be healthy, be happy, and we'll see you next time.